Oh, whew. All right. Welcome back. No Strokes Golf Podcast. Venmo Joe. I got my shitty instant coffee here to tide me over. I'm an idiot. Don't know how to buy coffee. You'd think at this point I would, but nope.
Hey, that's just your dedication to No Strokes, man. Anything to grab some energy before you jump on and talk some golf.
Ready to go. And talk golf we will. I'm going to start off with a tweet of the week I read that I thought was great. And it was John Deere Classic. Is the Travelers with a shittier field?
They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
But like,
it was fucking awesome.
I was just gonna say, does it like
awesome.
just like we talked last week? The Travelers delivers. Doesn't John Deere always deliver? Like, yes, shittier field, but you know, the one guy there was two guys that were in the
to whom
exactly
shittier to whom.
And there was two guys that were in the top 15 in the world playing, and one of them won the tournament. So, fuck, John Deere delivers yet again.
I mean, you take out Matty Fitz and our boy Cam Young, and Chris Gotterup now has more wins in the last 12 months than any of the rest of the people who played in the Travelers combined. So,
yeah,
on you.
That's a stat. That's a stat.
Dude, crazy. And also, he's awesome, by the way. Like, love to watch him. Love to watch his brother, who's not always on his bag, but was. His brother on the range waiting was fucking
warming
masterpiece.
Up. He's hitting the shots on the range.
And then the quote that I caught, which wasn't even mic'd up, was Chris is sitting scrolling on his phone. I don't know if he's married or not, so I'm not going to say scrolling on Tinder, but whatever he was doing, he was scrolling. And his brother is like, oh, and he like kind of grins. And Chris is like, what? He's like, he pulled it in the water. And Chris goes, green side or direct? And he goes, green side. Dumps the wedge back down and goes, he can still chip it in. And he starts hitting balls again.
That was fantastic. I would agree with you on that. I mean, I felt for Ben Kohles, man. Oh. Like, dude, to be that close and then just yank. I mean, dude, I've actually followed him before. Like, he's a historically bad putter, which is why, like, he just, for whatever reason, these 4 days, like we've talked about, you get a hot putter, you can contend. And he was finally making putts that he historically misses up until that, 3-foot bogey putt that cost him $300,000 on 18. That was brutal to watch after he lost the tournament, and then he could still tie for second, and he just shoves that 3-footer. But I hated seeing that on 18, right? Like, but it goes to show you that. Well, I know you had your Gotterup contract, so I know you were cheering
contract, bro. We did. I woke up yesterday and was like, I'm not watching. I mean, I'm going to watch it, obviously, but I was like, I'm not watching this with any sort of anything in play. I woke up, my tickets were Grillo, Blades Brown, top 20. Max Homa, top 5. Gotterup wins it outright. That's what I woke up with. And I looked at it and was like, all right, we'll see. Like, I'm just looking at, like, if they can make a run, I could sell. I picked up some Lucas Glover along the way when he was down, and then I was like, shit, that was bad, and I sold that off. But
that was bad.
I mean, honestly, I think I sold it for like what I bought it. So it was like I got him when he was just getting within 2 and then down.
Yeah,
whatever.
No harm, no foul.
To go back to your point, though, I did not buy Kohles because I know he can't putt. Then he goes and drains a handful of putts after the bogey. He makes a putt for par. He makes a putt for birdie. And I was like, shit, this is this guy's day. Gotterup's not going to win. But then it got so good that I was joking with you. Homa, he's like birdie, par, bogey, birdie, whatever on the front. And I'm thinking, well, here comes a Homa round. And so I had $200, 200 contracts for top 5. He's at, I want to say 11th place or 12th place tied at this point, which is only 2 strokes. It's not like a lot, but it was where he's ranked. And I was like, fuck this guy. It's Max Homa. I'm out. I tried to panic sell it on Robinhood, and only 2 of the 200 contracts went through. And I was like, well, that's got to be some kind of a sign. I never try again when I do stuff like that. By the way, for any gambler degenerate, if you try to do something and it doesn't go through, fucking drop your phone. That's whatever God you believe into telling you to shut the fuck up. That's what that is. So just don't do it. So I left it be. And then sure as shit, he goes on like a 4 birdie train. and places top 5. And I ended up walking with about $725 yesterday on a day expected to lose, 40, 50 on the stupid bets that I had. So in general,
stay hot, Scotty.
Really well. Staying hot.
Well, what was crazy too, like, I mean, I think you went into it the same way Gotterup did. If you heard his press conference, he was like, I don't know, I was 5 back. I wasn't thinking I was going to win the tournament today. I was just trying to play the best round I could play, and guy shot 9 under, and it was good. It was
6
good
birdies and 12 holes, and was like, maybe I do have a chance.
Good enough to win the golf tournament. By the way, to borrow from Bill Simmons, he's got the gambling manifesto. We need to create the golf gambling manifesto. A thing we need to remember. Crazy comebacks happen at John Deere on Sundays because that course can be gettable. Guys just get super hot. Sepp Straka did it 3 years ago, where I think he might even shot 10 or 11 under on a Sunday and came back from like 6 back, 7 back. Like, I love looking at the board at these like less marquee golf tournaments on Saturday night and just seeing where there's value. Because I'm sure Gotterup 5 strokes back yesterday was, he had to be like, I don't know, 100 to 1, 75 to 1. Because I know Blades Brown was 5 back and he was 100 to 1 going into Sunday. So there's always value in looking at that on courses that do give up birdies where there's these huge swings. And when the leaders don't go like crazy, a guy like Gotterup, who's 10, 11 groups in front of them, can go post a score and win the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 500 contracts paid out $450 or $60. So I probably was at like sub 10 cents on the purchase would be my guess. 12 cent, whatever it is. Do the math on less fees.
They had to be. It
was Saturday. Well, yeah, it was Saturday. So I can't remember if Kohles was done already or not. But either way, we're definitely gonna do this manifesto. We talked about creating like a fantasy league, season-long fantasy, kind of like you do in football, but do it for golf, which we're gonna do. So then we'll have to do the manifesto. One of the things I would add to this is, again, this the preface being, how Simmons has the preface, like this is the asterisk, like in case this happens. If you've got, a Rory or a Scotty or one of those types who's still not in the clubhouse, but they're 3-4 strokes back and they've got, 6 holes to go, nothing is safe. But we do not give enough respect to getting in the clubhouse with the low number. Time and time again, we look at the guys out there and it's like, the number we think is negative 19 or 20 or 21. And you get someone who comes in at 20 and they post the number. I mean, you kind of saw with Morikawa, it almost fucked everything up for everyone at the Travelers. You come in with a real low number, you're like, now I have a number I have to hit. It's not hypothetical. And I think it screws with people. Like, I definitely think it got Ben Kohles. I think he looked at it, he's like, he fucked up, he didn't make birdie, gets a par, that's a problem. He comes back, and now he's like, on 18, all I got to do is not fuck up. And he fucked up. If he would have been still out there,
what was crazy too, Scott, that was only the second ball that went into the water all day on 18. Like, so
of course.
Again, but that's what we watch, right? Like, even the professional golfers have nerves, right? Like, pull shots, and like when it's the ultimate pressure, and you're sitting in the middle of the fairway trying to win your first PGA Tour event. I think he just won on Corn Ferry. It's not like the guy hasn't won,
but he did this before though. He blew it on 18 at the Byron a couple years ago, and it was 18th hole bogey. You
just feel for him, because now it's happened more than once, so it's a pattern. So there's some demons that guy's going to be fighting the next time that he's in contention. There's no doubt about that. But you got to give I give it up to Gotterup. He went out there and got it.
He did the number. He went and got it.
He's now won 5 times in the last 12 months. A great segue for when we get there, right? Because he's the defending champ at the Genesis. The Scottish Open is what kind of kicked off his being on the scene here, right? So the last 12 months have been pretty good if you're a Chris Gotterup fan.
Well, I mean, in a couple months here, the conversation becomes, is he the best player under 30? And he'll be the person with five wins. Cam Young turns 30, like, I think shortly here. So like it's stupid sounding, but it is like he's got the most wins in the shortest period of time. He just hasn't won in signature events, though. That's the question. Like, he's got these wins, the 3, but they're not.
That's a great call. I mean, Listen,
I still love him.
The Scottish in Phoenix are two
No, those are
unbelievable wins.
real. Yeah.
But I'm with you. Like I think your question to who's who's number 3, right? Because like we've talked about this ad nauseum, right? It was Cam. We threw Fitz out there. Hovland can certainly get there. Gotterup throws his name into contention. Morikawa, when he's right, is right there. Like I think we need. I think it comes down to, can we get one of these young studs that has won one major or hasn't won a major yet win the Open here in 2 weeks? And I think that's going to be the guy that, like, going into the playoffs in the next season is like becomes, in my opinion, that third guy, right? I would love to see if we can get Gotterup, Hovland, Sam
All right.
Burns, Cam Young, one of those guys. Like, can they win at Royal Birkdale and like finally kind of close the case shut and be like, hey, now I've got everything on my resume. Not only do I have, like, the 5 wins or the 8 wins of your Hovland, now I've got the major championship to go with it.
So who is number 3 or 4 on the Rushmore this season is a different debate. I don't put Chris Gotterup anywhere near that. To me, when you talk about Rushmore, it is performance, but it's also
he's definitely up there. How is he not?
Well, because
you said this season. He's won multiple times this season. Who
I'm
else
looking
has?
at like the general.
Besides
Are we talking about
Fitz?
This is like the MVP versus the like season, the best player in the league, really. Like Scottie Scheffler has not won other than the one, and yet he's in second in contention to every single major. He's in contention. Gotterup's not even in the fucking tournament.
But Scottie's number 1. Like, we don't need to debate Scottie. We're debating 3 and 4.
I'm just making a point that, like, we're going to save it for another show, debating the actual, like, who is the kings of the turf out there right now. I was just framing, like, when you look at next season, going into the season, who are the best players under 30? And this is the crazy part. In the next month, you are going to have Scottie Scheffler's already out. He turned in June 30. Collin Morikawa turning 30. If he hasn't turned already, he's turning 30. Victor Hovland will be 29 next season, 28 now. Cam Young will be turning 30. Ludwig Oberg, who will never win, is 26. So he's your young one. He's competing. Akshay, 24, he's competing against. Chris Gotterup is 26, will be 27. Robert McIntyre, he's 29, turning 30, so he's out. Sam Burns is 29, just turned 30. He's out. Minwoo Lee, 27, will be 28 by the time we talk about this. That's the top 10 I can think of off the bat. You can go to the really young, the Jackson Coivins and these, but they haven't won anything yet. You got to be on tour, stay on tour. When you really think about it,
pause
that's
really quick.
Hovland and Gotterup pretty much right there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the list of it. I would like to look at that further, but yeah, I was impressive that you just rattled those ages off. I don't know how you did that. That was pretty good.
GPT, baby.
Jackson Coivin, though, like, now we're kind of seeing, and I talked about this last week. I mean, Blades Brown was in way more contention than Coivin was, and I said, you're getting a way better number on Blades Brown, and the guy has got way more experience than Coivin. That was Coivin's first, like, event as a pro. He missed the cut. Hey, by the way, let's not
whatever.
Yeah, but dude, this is why you don't put a guy that's never his first event as a pro. He should not be 25-1. I don't care what the field.
No, it's great. Well, everyone's betting on hype. Everybody loves the fucking hype machine, and he's certainly full of it. I mean, I've said this before. I'll say it again. This is going to age terribly because I really do actually think he's a stud player. The guys like him who are phenomenal putters, this is the Spieth thing, only Spieth got way more than you could ever ask anyone, like multiple majors, and he's one away from winning the Grand Slam. You can, despite what the last 7 or 8, 10 years of Spieth has been, you got an apex from him, like very Tiger-esque apex, which is like a lot to expect. Jackson Coivin being compared to that, in fact, said he's even a better putter. Guys whose entire game is relevant on a putter, and they're 5'5", 5 foot nothing, whatever the Rudy line is. The 5 foot nothing kid who hits the ball a good amount for his size, but isn't built like Rory with the wide shoulder, wide big leg. He scares the shit out of me. And this little injury thing, which I think is like nothing at all, and he's young, was like in my head, was like, uh-oh. Like, and I'm not trying to talking head my way into this guy's future 20 years ahead, but there's something about guys who are only putter is like their big thing. It's like you are one yips. We've seen it time and time again that a guy like Ben Kohles can win a fucking tournament after being historically almost a worse putter than me. He can come in and just get hot for one tournament, and he can win it. And that means that Koivu is competing with the guy who gets hot every single week, and that's his strength. And I'm just a little concerned that he's not going to be everything that people expect. And so that bet I saw, we talked about it, I thought it was crazy. I put my money on Blade. And I will do it again because he looks like a complete player. He's not the putter that Jackson is. He's not the ball striker off the tee precision-wise, but he's got more distance. He's a better iron player, in my opinion.
Distance. Yeah, I really like Blades Brown. Like, that's a guy.
His name is Blades Brown. We don't have to say it every time, but I'm gonna like that guy. You might as well. I'll put a tattoo of that dude right on my little, like, what's the frat kid does right here. I'll put it right there. No, I want to be early. I can always just change it to like Blades, and it's just like my Mira irons. No, either way. So the point is, like, we always talk about the recap of these tournaments, who's hot and where it's going. We've got a ton of young kids coming. We had an amateur Stroud also compete in this, and obviously it should be mentioned, not the deepest field in the planet, but these are real players. There's some guys out there. Any field where Zach Johnson can top 10, I feel like is questionable, but that's a different topic. He's a douchebag.
Yeah,
I love that him and his caddy couldn't even high five.
We almost went back. I mean, it was definitely like a nostalgic kind of Friday where it's like you saw Zach Johnson at the top of the leaderboard, and then Lucas Glover took the lead. Like, Lucas Glover looked like he was going to almost go wire to wire, falling off a little bit on Sunday. But that's kind of the charm of the John Deere, though, right? Is that if you've got that good course history, it just seems like you can compete, the later stages of your career. Like, Glover won it, I think 4 or 5 years ago. Like, he's done it in recent time. Like, he pops up on the radar every once in a while. Like, I was looking before we jumped on here because I was like, remember that a couple years ago Glover won back-to-back tournaments on the PGA Tour? Like, it was absurd.
I do.
He won the Wyndham, I think the last regular season event, and then parlayed that into winning at St. Jude. It's just, golf is nuts, man. Like, to just be someone that's like, you don't think about for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden they're just like, poof, they're there, they have their moment, they might win a tournament, and then you don't hear from them for another 2 or 3 years.
It's why I have a bit of a hot take on this, and we haven't talked a ton about the PGA Tour announcements on the Challenger and this kind of stuff, and I'm not going to do it here. I actually think there's still a lot that needs to be fleshed out before that's actually talkable. Everything else is kind of speculation. But I will say one thing stood out to me, and this tournament really, in my opinion, kind of like drove it home. I don't understand why we're talking about bringing new tournaments into the PGA's normal course play and not drawing on tournaments that are pre-existing 20, 30 years long with history and locations. I know we want to do the big city thing. Liv did this no one gives a fuck. Chicago will fill up just like it always does. But we always have, like, the President's Cup coming into Medina this year. We have all these things that, like, we'll go to. You have a passionate crowd in Iowa or Illinois or Wisconsin or wherever these, like, random kind of tournaments that we are, like, kind of diminishing. I feel like the John Deere shouldn't just be sitting there. It should be elevated. Like, I think the PGA is making a mistake trying to introduce new tournaments that are going to be bigger and not taking a John Deere and saying, hey, why don't we get the best players here? Because for 30 years, the people turn out. And there's a reason that we're talking about the John Deere, saying that was an awesome tournament and everyone really loved it. And the vibes on television were really good.
Always are. Yeah.
I don't know why would we not reward the rural areas? And I understand all the math and shit, but the rural areas that have supported big tournaments with big companies for a long time. The John Deere charters a plane for all the players to go straight to the Genesis right after the tournament. It's not a small deal. Like, this is a tournament to me that is run exceptionally well. And I feel like we're trying to add stuff. We've talked about this in other episodes. Like, get out of your own fucking way. We're trying to add stuff when really taking away and pushing forward the best product is a better, in my opinion at least, is a better move here.
Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. I mean, there are things that they've introduced that, you and I have talked about that I think everyone is universally in favor for. Like, I love relegation. I love, you got to bring cuts back, right? Which they're doing. Some of the pressure that kind of has left the ecosystem since Live, right? Where, signature events, no cut, huge purses. So they definitely needed a course correct there, which they did. I'm interested to see what tournaments kind of go by the wayside or go to like the challenger versus the champion tour. But I'm with you. You have to like balance what they're trying to do, kind of running concurrently these two different tours with keeping the courses in the cities that have kind of sustained PGA Tour fandom for decades, right? Like, part of their rallying cry when Live started was, hey, you can't just create legacy out of nowhere, right? Like, we've got all of these tournaments where you've got moments and legacies have been defined at, and like you just have some sort of like emotional pull towards some of these tour events because like you can remember them over the years, right? You remember moments, you remember comebacks, you remember the crowd energy, you remember certain holes on the course that just always bring kind of drama into the fold. So they've got to figure out a way to make sure that they're maintaining that legacy while also I get it. They do want to introduce new courses that we haven't seen in bigger cities. What I will disagree with you on a little bit here, and I don't even know if it's disagreeing. Chicago needs to be a stop on the PGA
Yeah.
Tour, Chicagoland. Like, I love the John Deere. It's in Illinois. That's not the Chicagoland stop,
No.
right? Like, you've
No.
got so much good golf in Chicagoland. And I think the last PGA Tour event that we had was the BMW Championship at Olympic Fields 3 years ago. Like, dude,
Yep.
we're the third biggest market. We're starving for PGA Tour golf, and all we've gotten over the last couple of years is Live playing at one of our favorite places, Rich Harvest, which is great, but like that's not the PGA Tour, right? So they do need to figure out getting to some of the bigger cities that I think have like largely gotten ignored as the schedule has evolved over the last 5.
I totally agree, obviously, about the Chicago piece. I think that there are plenty of tournaments to shift down to Chicago and have. I would just hate to see things like John Deere get moved or rolled over or left behind. It's like, well, that's a challenge. That's the big challenger event now. And it's like, so their expectation is that every year, just like the lowest crop of people show up. It's like, fuck you guys. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like
but
these
I think
tournaments are so good.
they are, but they'll find their stride. Like the concept of what they're introducing, I like a lot, and
Yes.
I think with all of the talent that you've got now on the PGA Tour, I hope that there's enough talent that that Challenger series like is going to be like super competitive and dramatic, and it's going to bring eyeballs in. But it depends
I
on how it shakes out, and that like, and you can get guys that we know, right? Like you could get a listen. This is going on in 2028. In 2028, you could have guys like Jordan Spieth or Max Homa, guys that everyone knows that like, hey, they don't have their best game anymore, but then you get this kind of comeback kind of story arc that could potentially happen on
yeah.
this tour.
I wish it was 1 year sooner because I would love to take all the Live guys and be like, your penance is you're on the Challenger Tour until you win 2 in a row, or two, whatever, win 2, or it's a 2-year that you have to be on here. And that way they get to jump up all these tournaments, have like half the field still pretty good. By then, Spieth and those guys will be down there naturally, and it'll work itself out. But that's not all that we've been talking about lately. There's also the online golf world, which
Yeah.
Grant Horvat and folks have turned on with the YGT. And there's this week, we'll talk a little bit about this ongoing, but this week I'm going to let you do the talking here. But this week, the streams collided because we had Michael Block, and he's both a PGA pro asshole and a guy that occasionally shows up in majors like the U.S. Open and PGA, and people love him. But there was a moment, and the YouTube world and the real life world collided for a moment, and there's also Brad Dahlke, which is another example of the internet world and the real world colliding. So why don't we give away
It is
Venmo Joe?
it is all converging for sure. So yeah, to build off of what you said, it's YGT, your golf tour, the 4 founding fathers, Grant Horvat, the Bryan Bros, Wesley and George, and then Brad Dahlke. I thought it was super entertaining. So the first video dropped, I think last week, probably around this time. So the first 9 holes, it was just a scramble. So you had 4 teams, and then within each team, you had 2-man teams. So scramble was interesting, but you had crazy scores because you've got really good golfers, and they're playing a 2-man scramble. The intriguing stuff was the second video that dropped, which was alternate shot, and then they introduced each team had a wild card that they introduced at the start of the first video, where they would sub out one of the guys on the team from the front 9 and put the wild card in. So on Grant Horvat's team, you got Michael Block Blocky put in.
Yippee!
I don't know, dude. Like, Blocky has a lot of quirks. I enjoy him. I think that the hate is a little blown out of proportion. And listen, I get it. If you don't like Michael Block, I completely get it. I think he's a guy that, like,
the
dude,
moment I saw him, I was done with him. The fucking
and that's
like
and
I
that that's
didn't even get into it
and
when they
that's fair,
this
but
first time he's on the air, and I was like, he's a thing. I was done.
I get the Blocky hate. All I'm saying is I'm just giving a different perspective, where this guy was a PGA Tour pro. No one knew who he was. All of a sudden, he burst onto the scene 4 years ago. And yeah, like, is he a little much and, like, a little douchey? Of course, right? But, like, he's a guy that became famous, like, in his 50s. Like, I probably wouldn't know how to act either. But anyway, the drama that got introduced into the YGT video is that Grant Horvat's team, out of the 4 teams, 2 were going to advance to the championship. Grant's team was in second place for pretty much the whole video. They get to hole 18, which is this beast par 5. They both 2-man teams on Grant's team par. So they're only up 1 stroke on Brad Dahlke's team. Dahlke's team comes, and actually one of the teams on Dahlke's crew eagled. So they went advanced. And at the end of the video, they show some audio with Blocky, just expressing his frustration. Like, I flew all the way fucking here for 9 holes. Like, I played 9 holes, and I played a great 9 holes, and, like, can't believe I'm going fucking home. I liked it because it's like what YGT is trying to do is they're trying to take a step up from just like, hey, YouTube golf is just like, there's no stakes. It's just for fun. Where, like, no, it's now a tour. There's money on the line, and, like, real competition with really good golfers. I think it was, like, completely fine that they included that audio from Michael Block. Horvat and the YGT guys come out and apologize for including that audio, because reading in between the lines, right? I'm sure what happened is Block's team was like, hey, we did you a favor. We came to your inaugural YGT event. Like, Michael Block has got a lot of eyeballs on him. Like, we did you a solid, and, like, you put some editing out there that made our guy look bad. I don't think it made him look bad. I think it made him look like a competitor.
It made him look like Michael Block.
Yeah, and that's who he is, right? So, I don't know. I didn't think that there needed to be an apology that got issued, and I think that's I look at it and, like, that's the difference between YGT and, like, what they created with the Internet Invitational. Like, could you imagine Dave Portnoy coming out and apologizing for that? Hell no. So I didn't think it was a great look for YGT. I get why they probably got pressured to do it, but I think they should have held to their guns and just been like, hey, we showed it. This is why we showed it. Like, Block came off great in the video. Like, he was a great teammate. He was reading everyone's putts. He played fantastic golf. Like, it's not like they edited him in a poor way whatsoever during the 4-hour video that he was a part of. It was just they included the audio of him at the end because he was pissed off they didn't win.
I totally agree. I don't really have a take on that part of it. I mean, I'm kind of half joking with the Block thing because, well, I personally do not like the guy. I've not hidden my feelings towards a lot of different golfers out there, but it also makes me want to watch him more. Like, whether I'm rooting for or against, that's the whole point of this. Golf has always needed tension. We tried to create the Tiger and Phil thing, and there was for a minute, but there really wasn't. Like, Tiger beat his ass. There wasn't tension. Come on. Like, we haven't had it. And I think the opportunity that we've talked about before
I think there was just tension off the course with Tiger and Phil on who could
they're
creep
chasing
out
the same piece of squirrel.
I was going to say, who could creep out the local talent quicker.
Dude,
But sorry,
well, there's nothing quite like the 3-mile stare that Phil can give you. Nothing turns me on more than that. Although he was a great crafty putter and short gamesman. Anyway, we have to manufacture tension, and the thing that I feel like creators have an advantage of is tension and being media personalities. And one of the reasons, and I love this, this is the most fun I've had watching and participating in golf my entire life is right now, because it's the apex of real golf, really good, and my world of media and creator and all this other shit. Like, it's all converging at the same time. And the challenge with Dave Portnoy's thing, and not that he couldn't do this, like, I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't, but this is why this is hard. Internet Invitational is really cool, and it's a fun watch, but it's mostly shit guys. They're not great. There's a couple in there that are good.
Well, I mean, it's a balance between there is the elite of the elite, but you know, they've also aired on they want entertainment too, right? So you've got the Duke, who's one of the worst golfers you ever see. I think Jersey Jerry's in the field this year, who, is lucky if he breaks 110. So yeah, I'd hear you. It's not
there's no question.
That's not what they're going for, right?
But yes and no. Yeah, you're right. Yes to that, and that's not what YGT is going for on the other side of this. But and it's not what TGL is going for. This is 3 or 4 different theses. That this is what internet online off-season winter golf is going to look like. And the Barstool fan who just like the stoolie, who's just there to watch guys chug beer and talk shit and whatever, will watch it regardless. But that is no matter how much money Dave Portnoy makes and then sells his company and buys back for $1. Now, how many times he does that, there's only a limited number, particularly in golf, who want to watch fucking stooges. And on the YGT thing, the issue is that, and I'll break this down, but like the issue for YGT is that they want to capitalize on really high quality golf. They want to get the online digital golf, marry sim to it, get the off season going of all your favorite creators who are really good golfers, but they also have personality, which is solving for the TGL's problem, which is they've got the best golfers, no fucking personality we're going to take the best players. Well, no, I'm talking about TGL.
But he's the analyst, right? He brings some entertainment to.
Towards the end, he did. He wasn't there.
Balls and screens. Yeah, no, you're right.
He wasn't there in the beginning. Right. They're trying really hard to like lean into creative entertainment. The PGA is, and they're not going to be able to do that because you can't teach a person to become funny. And YGT is looking at what Internet Invitational did and said, oh, we need real skill. You can't teach a funny guy how to play better golf. We got the best of both worlds. People who are paid to be online entertainers who are also really fucking good at golf. That makes potentially a really compelling and bettable situation that could be an actual, like off-season tour tournament, and they can travel and have majors IRL and sim leagues and all this shit. I just feel like if you're going to do that, you've got to stand, to your point, put the flag in the ground and understand that a Michael Block situation doesn't happen to the PGA stuff because he's fucking happy to be there. It doesn't on TGL. It doesn't happen if it was a traditional media, NBC airing it, TNT, the match. He can't say shit. His people can't say shit. The fact he got invited he's lucky to be there. But with you, you're new, and he felt like he could pressure you a little bit and make you feel uncomfortable, and then you go and you make in my opinion, the mistake that a Dave Portnoy, who's a master on the media, less so on the sport, he would never make. The whole purpose of our show and our media is that I am what I am, I say what I say, and I don't give a fuck. I'll say sorry if it's real and I deserve it, I should, but if it's not, it's just my opinion. Tough shit, man. Like, you got ratings, you got invited, don't come back. If you don't like it, don't come back. I hope next time they don't do this. They take their gut and they go with it because this is their opportunity. Like, I think this is an important moment because regular traditional media has never been able to recreate a true character, creative person the way digital creators are. And the Barstool types don't have talent. They could buy it, but they don't have talent like Grant and those guys have. You've got a really cool opportunity, but you can't go back and forth and sort of pretend to be serious media and, the country club sort of mentality. They have to be a little bit more Dave Portnoy or they're going to get rinsed away. Because I think people want to watch this but they're not going to want to watch it if they find out for a second that now I just learned that you might be editing people out because you didn't like what they said.
Yeah, exactly.
That ruins
it. Completely agree. Completely agree. Like, I think they've picked the lane that they want to be in now, and now you've got to stick to it, right? Because if it was just about the best golf, we wouldn't be watching YGT. We wouldn't, because they're not the best golfers. Why we're watching YGT, to your point, is that these are internet personalities that have cultivated a fan base over the years, right? Like, these guys have been doing, I mean, Horvat's been doing this forever. Garrett Clark from Good Goods been doing this forever. The Bryan Bros have been doing this forever, right? Like, they have a following and they're entertaining.
right. And they're really good at golf.
And they're really good at golf, but like, they're not the best at golf, right? So you need that entertaining storyline. And like, they had a good storyline with Michael Block, and it's like, I don't know. Are they being genuine in their apology, or are they actually making the apology because they're trying to draw more eyeballs to it? Like,
no,
it's just,
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No, I think it's both. I think it's because they genuinely wish that they hadn't pissed off Michael Block, and they come from that kind of country club golfer,
I agree with you. Yeah.
And on the other hand, they're also like, oh shit, we have a thing we don't want to fuck up. We need more people to come on. And to me, it's like, you said you got to pick a lane. I don't agree. I think you have to build your own lane. That you're like, if you want to be successful at this, you have to literally build your own. You said that they're not the best golfers. I would say that Brad Dahlke, contending in a PGA, forget about how he got there, contending in PGA events, and other guys like Block who play on the PGA Tour, at least at majors, and come back to this. What is different between Online Invitational, TGL, this, whatever the fuck else comes, Live, PGA Tour in general, is that there is either a divide, the PGA doesn't want any part of it, or the PGA is like weirdly introducing the Kelsey brother type shit into their content to try to like win over the stoolie. Bad idea, by the way. Congrats on Taylor Swift and Travis's wedding. I'm sorry I didn't get the invitation.
I thought it might be on that list, Scotty.
You don't know if I was there or not. It's top secret. No pictures. And then you've got the YGT piece.
You'd be the only person that attended that wedding didn't post a picture, by the way.
Quick selfie. No, but YGT, who has this like, they actually could bridge the gap. They can bring PGA guys in, and they have guys who are good enough that they are actually contending, which, can you imagine? I'm not suggesting this should happen, but can you imagine? I would like to see Anthony Kim go straight to the tour, but could you imagine Anthony Kim ending up at a couple of YGT events, playing while he's trying to make his way back on tour? You get to watch up front. He's recording a documentary. There's a couple of guys doing that right now. They are the one group that is, for a person who's a golf sicko and an online person, who bridges the gap in such a way where the PGA accepts them, does not shun them, lets guys go back and forth, doesn't penalize, and the media doesn't shit on like Dave Portnoy. They can walk this fine line so long as they stay true to themselves, present their product as the highest quality golf that is online. And to me, that makes it a really compelling product, in the way that the Online Invitational is a weekend where I kind of laugh and snicker, but I would not watch it ongoing. TGL I fucking love, but I don't need personality. You could watch a shit on mute, and I'm just like a sicko and watch the swings.
And what TGL gives you too is that you can gamble, right? It's a live event, right? That's what YouTube is never going to have an answer for, right? So that's
I disagree with that. Did you see
when are they got to do live? They have to do live broadcasting then.
Well, and they have that capability, and they if it's not them, it's going to be Netflix who does. So one of them is going to be doing it very soon. I'm sure you saw Versant Media Group acquired Full Swing today, simulator technology group that does TGL, bought Full Swing for $530 million today.
What do you mean bought Full Swing? Like the
Full Swing
TV series?
The Full Swing, like the show, the media company behind it, the creator channel, Versant bought it. So now Full Swing, the show, is, I would assume, is going to become an extension of the TGL. And like, my point is, all this is coming together in a way where it would suggest that there's a meaningful enough audience and demand for a product. But the product, if you're looking to, like, if you make the mistake ESPN and big leagues tend to make, they try to just put what they do in real life online, and that's it. And it doesn't really work well because those guys were built for playing in tournaments behind ropes, not wired in playing. And these other guys that have historically been really funny, charismatic, are not used to playing and putting for a lot of dough, and they blow putts. And the first time it's really funny. The second and third time, you're like, this is actually just a shitty product. These guys suck at golf. And that's where that becomes an issue. There's no reason at all. And I would not believe this for a second if you told me that Horvat and those guys did not have their eyeball on a live tournament stream at some point in the very near future. And that's like all the reason why having handicaps is such an interesting to me, that they post handicaps is interesting to me.
Agreed.
Makes
I'm sure that's where they want to go, right? I think the challenge is that the benefit that they've had is that you have time to edit, right? So you can curate
Yeah, but
what you're
that's the full
showing
swing
and the
piece. That's the
personality
full
and all
swing
that
piece.
sort
You
of
make
stuff.
you post op, you pull the stuff and create content along the side. But like we saw Mike Tyson fight with Jake Paul stream on Netflix, and there was no problems there. What could go wrong?
Anyway, though, like, I mean,
it's a
at the
topic.
end of the day, like, I don't agree with how they handled the block situation, but I thought the first two videos were high entertainment, high quality golf. Like, I do think that they've obviously got something here. I'm gonna be watching. The views have been absolutely insane. Like, I know they eclipsed 1 million views very quickly. So, hey, what they're doing is right. Like, I think the product's really good. This is probably just a bump in the road, but yeah, didn't love how they handled that piece.
I love the fact that we're talking about this with like 3 or 4 different entrants to negotiate who we think is doing what. Like that's how fucking hot this is right now. That
Yeah.
there's literally multiple people that have their own kind of thesis on how this is going to go. With AI and everything else, I do not imagine that even by next year they can't live stream and then take cuts and clip and have clippers posting it all over the internet in less than minutes after it happens. So like I'm not worried about that. I think we have, this is the iron sharpens iron. Hopefully you've got 3 realistic versions of this kind of stuff, and they're all going to fight and compete and make their product better. And it's just good for me. And you and I just want to bet on it, really. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, that's all I really want.
For sure. For sure. And it's just what I always like about YouTube golf is that like you can always get your fix of watching golf, right? Like there's always a video on YouTube golf waiting for you. Like, yeah, if you're looking to just burn some time, put something on before bed, like you just have this library of like awesome golf content. And like it just depends on what you're in the mood for too, right? Like if you're just in the mood to laugh and go to sleep, put on Bob Dub Sports, right? Like if you're more into like, hey, I want to feel this
Little Rick Shields
competition a
before
little.
bed. Little Rick Shields.
Yeah. Not a Rick Shields guy. But like, yeah, if you want to get the itch of like competition, like this is what YGT does, right? Like you actually get like real legit competition where you can see guys that are used to playing big golf, like feel the nerves.
Yeah. Well, Rick's not coming on this show anymore. Thanks for that.
Being honest, not a Rick Shields guy. Not.
No, I agree. It's, you know what, he's actually good when you're looking up certain club products for like, what is this putter versus that or whatever. That's where I get it. I probably couldn't listen to him for much longer.
I'm not saying he's bad. I just haven't consumed his content. Like that's just that's just being factual. I haven't consumed his content.
He's not going to consume ours either anymore. So speaking of a bunch of really talented golfers who don't play on tour, the Genesis Scotland is going to be really good and loaded with live guys. I'm excited to actually see some of these dudes in a non-major environment, because I feel like while we always talk about the pressure and the major thing, this is going to sound totally weird, but I actually feel like it's there's a patterning conditioning where you get into major mode, and for some reason you can like almost mentally get to another level of your game just because that's like what you're kind of wired. That's all you know. To see a bunch of guys who have not played in this environment in a while, other than those who recently are on the DP, be able to come and play in this is going to be kind of fun. It's going to be nice to see faces and it not be like, will Rahm win, the PGA or whatever, because he has before or whatever. So the Masters, it's going to be interesting to see those guys and a good field in general.
It's a great field, right? I mean, kind of the polar opposite to our one of our favorite John Deere fields, right? But yeah, it's going to be awesome, right? You've got, I feel like we haven't had Scotty and Rory in the same field outside of
It's been a
majors
while.
pretty much like all year. So that's going to be exciting. I honestly think this is going to be really good for Rahm because to your point, the only time that we've seen him is made like, yeah, Masters to the PGA to the US Open. Like I think him having this as the prep for the Open is going to benefit him. I don't necessarily love him this weekend, but I think it's actually gonna like maybe weirdly take some of the pressure off at Royal Birkdale because he's like, hey, I was just in the biggest event in the world last week. I just went toe to toe with, the best field in golf, right? So now I maybe he just doesn't put as much pressure on himself next week. So I think that could benefit him and any of the other live guys, right? Hatton is really performed well in the majors, but it could benefit him as well. But yeah, I'm excited for it. It's always a great prep for the Open.
Who do you like at this week's event? Who are you looking at? Like, I
It's
mean, yes, there's part of it's leading into the British, but like in general, who do you like? Because I actually, you said Rahm. I didn't want to put his name on there. It's nothing to do with what you said. Actually, I I feel like he was playing well, and then he had the blow up on the back nine before he missed the cut a few weeks ago, and I felt like he thought he was doing really well and looking good, and then it fell apart at the Open, and that was that. But like he looked like he was going to be good, definitely on Thursday. So like, did he have a moment where it's like, oh shit, and then he's coming back? Like, where do you? I don't mind Rahm in this one,
no,
but like, what are you looking for?
I mean, I don't mind him in this one. I think that he's got one focus and his focus is major hunting. So I think this is always the tough part, Scott, is that when you have these tournaments where the guys actually play in the week before the major, you just never know who is treating that tournament as like completely a prep for the following week versus like who is really like focused on that particular tournament and wanting to win the tournament. So that's why I always struggle with the top guys. Um, because if I were in those shoes, I would probably be approaching it more as like, hey, if I win, great, but winning is really not the outcome I'm looking at this week. What the outcome that I'm looking for this week is how do I get my game fine tuned for the following week? So it's not to say that, Rory or Scotty or Rom, one of the big guys can't win. I just don't think that that's their primary focus. So in these like week leading up to the majors, when they do play, I tend to stay away from those guys and just look for some value a little bit further down the roster. Like there's a couple guys I like. I mean, there's a whole host of players that have made the cut in its first 4 years since it's been at the Renaissance. Like a couple guys that jump out to me are Kurt Kitayama and Tom Kim. Like Kitayama continues to gain shots on approach, right? Like I think he's done it in 25 straight events. Like I feel like he's gonna figure everything out, put it all together. He's a great driver of the golf ball. Tom Kim is just he's kind of like,
Hanging around.
I was on Fitz earlier this year. Then I moved to Ludwig. Then I moved to Hovland. Like Kim is the guy I've circled now. Was on him at the US Open. He was okay at John Deere. Like he looked like he was going to contend. Didn't do much yesterday, but he's got some good course history at the Renaissance Club. And then, the other guy that I really like is Marco Penge, who finished second last year. Just played really well. He's on the DP World Tour, but he's popped up on the PGA Tour a couple of different times and contended. I just like his game, and I haven't gotten to bet him in a while. Last I checked, he was like 105-1. So those are him and Kim and Kitayama are like the three that I'm circling. If you're looking at like more top of the board, I like Xander. He's won here before. He's delivered multiple top 20 finishes at this event over the first 4 years. Like, so anywhere from Xander, Tommy's done the same thing where he's had a couple top 20s here, but so was Scotty and Rory and our boy Ludwig Oldberg.
I mean, I think all those guys are going to be at the top of the board. Rory, I think will be. I could see him winning it if he comes out and shoots his ass. Like I really think that Thursday probably more than anything is going to determine how guys like he play. Like if I'm looking at Rory's game and he comes out and shoots a 65 or lower on Thursday or Friday, I think he will actually try, because then it's like, well, fuck you guys. I've been, floating around. You're all out here. And Scotty's out there. If Scotty shoots like shit on Thursday, I think he's going to try to play real well Friday and Saturday, but I don't think he's like gunning to win it. I think it's just like, hey, let's not do this again. I could see a John Rahm and guys like that. I would say Tommy Fleetwood, but I mean, he does this naturally, getting himself to the top and being around the cup, so to speak. And like, if there's a putback available, Rahm reaches up and takes it. Tommy will reach up and miss it, like Charles Oakley or Charles Smith or whoever it was that couldn't make a layup of the Knicks. That's what'll happen.
I think both.
Yeah, I think actually. Fuck. Well, the Knicks got redeemed this year, so you know what? I was gonna say fuck them Knicks, but they got redeemed, and I love Jalen Brunson. Either way, I love Xander Schauffele here, but I think he's like, he would be my top 10 pick, top 15 pick anyway. Tommy is a top 20 pick for me anyway. Ludwig is a top 20 pick for me in this anyway, because I just think they have games that are there. I don't know if any of those three guys would reach out and win it. I don't think Xander wants to win this, frankly, coming into the British.
He would be the one guy out of that top tier that I would say I wouldn't be surprised if he won it, just because.
No, not at all. I just don't think
he's been hanging around. He hasn't won a tournament in a long time. Like, I think it would help him going into the Open to win this, right? And then
that's actually great. I didn't think about that. That's a great point. That like maybe getting off the schneid for him has a value. Like in my head, when I said that to you, I'm thinking to myself, the last thing this guy wants is, like, he's performed so well in the majors that he wins the tournament before the major and then goes to the major and is just sort of okay. He wants to be on it.
I just think you and I always do this, right? And we always look for like, hey, what's the potential storylines going into a major week? And like, I could totally see it being like, oh wow, kind of people forgot about Xander. Like, yeah, we've been penciling him in as top 10 or top 20 in majors, but like, he hasn't truly contended. Oh shit, he just won at the Renaissance, right? Like he might be like, he then is on everyone's like, not that he wouldn't be, but like he is on everyone's like, hey, he's one of the first three storylines now going into the Open Championship.
I like it. I mean, if I was going to build a card,
worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, no, I like it. If I'm building a card right now, I'm just looking at it as we've been talking. I actually will put in on a Tom Kim top 20. I will put in a Tommy Fleetwood top 10. I will put a Xander top 5. Ludwig, I probably would put in a top 10, but Raleigh a top 20, honestly, just because he's one of those that if he's hot, it looks good, and if he falls off at all Sunday, he can drop like 10 spots.
I think top 20. There's something missing with our boy Ludwig, unfortunately. I mean, honestly, dude, his Sunday closing problem started here 2 years ago. Like, he was like in full control of this tournament. The one that McIntyre won.
McIntyre won, yeah.
Ludwig was like in cruise control going into Sunday, and then just like, I did not shut the door.
Maybe that's all he's got to do. He's got to bury the bones here and come back out.
Potentially, but I'm not going to put money on it.
No, I've kind of stayed away from him. I could see myself betting in tournament on him. Like if I see him kind of moving, I'd pick and choose. I don't love him. I do like a little bit on a Rahm pick. It's not going to be cheap, so that's probably one where you wait and see. You probably get better odds on Friday than you get on Wednesday. And then in general, the Rory thing, he hasn't been like sharp. We've talked about this. Is this something where it is a prep tournament for British? He doesn't give a shit about winning, but is it one where he could come out and pistol whip the crowd right off the bat and be like, well, he's got a 7-stroke lead or 5-stroke lead after day 2. And he's like, well, I might as well win this fucking thing. And it makes no difference to him. I don't think he cares at all. He wore the green jacket to the tennis open. I don't think he's thinking much about anybody right now.
He's just, I feel like he's really tough to predict right now. Because, like, to your point, he really hasn't been sharp. He's been, I mean, really disappointing since Augusta. Like, let's call it what it is, right? Like, we haven't seen him much. He's skipped a couple of different signature events, and like, he's not really been a factor in the majors since then. So
I
don't know.
I agree with you. I know that this is bad, but in my head with Rory, I still think of the Masters as something that he almost pissed away, not something that he grabbed and won. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the signature moment. I know it's a grand slam, it's a big deal, and he wrestled the demon that like really no one really ever comes back from, which is like blowing it like he did. He almost did. And we expected him to have a hell of a monkey off the back rain in 26, and it hasn't happened.
Well,
and it's not
I
just
mean,
that.
like,
He looks like he's distracted. His game is kind of
well,
I don't
what's
know.
weird is like, so obviously he won Augusta in 25, and everyone after he won in 25 was like, he's got this monkey off his back. He might now rattle off like another major or two in 25. And like he had a disappointing campaign after winning. And like that was, I think everyone like rationalized it and was like, hey, like he completed the career grand slam, exercised the demons at Augusta. Like it's reasonable that he like kind of fell off. But then after he won this year at Augusta, like he acknowledged that like, you know, all the adrenaline kind of came out of him last year. And he's like, hey, that's not going to be the case this year. It has been. Like he hasn't
Well,
been able to like capture any momentum coming from winning back-to-back green jackets. He hasn't.
I agree with you. My theory in this is there's a little bit of Tiger psychology. Tiger was very different. He always had to reinvent the game to make it harder for himself, so he would continually stay chasing the demon. Rory's kind of got the same, and this is just my opinion, but like he's got this look of a guy who has figured out how he knows whether he's got it to win or he doesn't. And the very minute that he kind of is like, nope, I tried, I pressed down, and it didn't go, then he checks out. He doesn't even give a shit. And I think he looks at tournaments now, especially after he feels no allegiance to the PGA for the most part. Like I feel like he just like, you guys kind of left me to hang, fuck you guys. So he's not even driven to play in certain tournaments now. It's like, nope, that's not a course that I play well in, so I'm not going to play in it. That's not a field where I feel like I'm going to go. Then he plays in a couple tournaments. He'll have a great Thursday. You see him ready to go Friday. He comes out and sputters. Then he just checks out. And you literally can see him basically checked out. He's not even doing his normal Rory pouting. The only thing he's pissing about is with the people in the gallery. That's the only thing that I've seen him get excited about is like pissing, calling the fat guy in the gallery and whatever else he did. Like weirdly, to put this to a close with him, I don't actually think of it badly. I think that it sets up for him he is figuring out post Rory chasing history. Who is Rory? What do I want to be? And he hasn't quite figured out how to be like self-motivated to win all the time. Right now, it's like, I got the check I'm not catching Tiger's wins. I'm not catching Jack's titles. This is where I am. So I'm going to win the ones that are winnable. And when he comes out, he's like the antithesis of Vijay Singh. Like he plays in every fucking thing his whole life. He'll play anything. Rory comes out and he gives it his all for a minute. If he can't get hot, then he kind of checks out. So if he plays well, I think you're going to see a guy who's
I mean, listen,
crush.
like he's earned the right to play the schedule he wants to play. I mean, I just think as diehard golf fans, like it's within our right to be disappointed that he's approached his schedule in the way that he's approached it, right? Because the game of golf is better when Rory is in the mix and involved and like, you know, part of a Sunday at a non-major event. And he has chosen to conserve energy and like prep for the majors. And like, hey, that's well within his rights. It worked for him at Augusta. It hasn't worked at Shinnecock or Aronimink, and we'll see if it works at Royal Birkdale. But I am happy that we finally get like it is fun to get another tournament with Rory, Scotty, and Rahm. That's not a major.
Agreed.
Like that's a lot of fun.
You got two picks to end here. You can pick one of those three or put them in which order they're going to finish. And then who's your one and done? Doesn't have to be the top guy, anyone. Who's your one and done pick for this week's tournament if you had to? Rank the big three in the tournament finish, and then who's your one and done?
My one and done is going to be Marco Penge. Like I said, I
like that.
I like his game. I love that he finished second here last year. Love that he's trending in the right direction. He played well in Germany, beat our boy Brad Dahlke. So I'm going to go ahead and one and done. Ranking the three.
Finish, not who's better, the finish.
Yeah. I'm going to go. I'll go Rahm, Rory, Scotty.
That means Scotty doesn't take a top two or I guess he top five. I guess still they're all in the top five. That would be something.
Rory Rory has played better at this club than Scotty has, and like I kind of like what you said about Rahm just being comfortable that this isn't a major and he gets to test himself against the best in the world, and
Yeah,
it
I think
doesn't
it's
like
important for him.
not not all not all is on the line here because it's not a major, but I think he's going to use it as a good measuring stick. So that's why, yeah, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3, and then yeah, we'll have the same debate next week going into Royal Birkdale. I
That's
will
a very
not have
different
that.
debate.
I will not have that same order. I'll tell you that much.
Ooh, I like it. He's already been thinking about it. Well, yeah, you don't have to because Hovland's not in that 3. So,
Bingo, bingo, bingo.
my man, great seeing you
All
as
right,
always. Always great
you
to
too,
talk some
buddy.
golf. See ya.
All right, see you, buddy. Bye.
Bye bye.